Welcome to the Creatively Performing Arts Podcast. This is the show for anyone ready to get back to the performing arts. You want to sing, you want to act, you want to dance, you want to be creative again? Come on over. I'm Estelle. I'm a singer, actor, performer, beginner voice coach, and I am here to help you get started. You will find beginner singing and performing tips and hear empowering, inspiring interviews with artists that will help you push past your fear and your doubts about performing so you can finally start performing with confidence and singing and dancing and living creatively. You have gifts that you need to grow, use, and share, and the world is waiting for you. I want to be there to help you do that. So let's begin. Hi loves, welcome back to the show. I'm so glad that you're here. Happy Monday. It's Estelle, Creatively Performing Arts Podcast, where we're all about helping you start to sing, dance, act, perform. And I'm really excited about today's episode in particular because I wanted to chat with you about a topic that so many creatives, myself included, don't realize. I don't think we realize how important this is to our creative work. So let's talk about it. I feel like, I've been told for so long. Growing up, I was told a lot that, oh, you seem really confident. You seem like you know what you're, not that I know what I'm doing, but I just have always been told that I seem confident. And I feel like part of it is just like the way that you're raised, but also personality traits. Like I'm an extrovert, I'm pretty outgoing. Like I'll talk to people, like I'll go up to someone, I'm not shy by nature, but I think part of it is also the way that I grew up. Like I also, I started dance class when I was really young and was like doing recitals from a young age. Like you had to get on stage. But I have this memory. I don't know if it's real. I should ask my mom if it's true. I have this memory of like my first dance recital when I was really, really young and being too shy to go on stage. I don't know if this actually happened. And like I don't know. Like my mom had to come backstage and kind of like calm me down because I could not get on stage or something like that. I wonder if that really happened. Anyway, but other than that, and then from there, I started singing in choir and church. It was a young church, so they allowed younger kids to sing in the choir and stuff. And I mean, I was 8 or 9 or so, maybe 10. And then from there, I started doing theater in school and at church too, in addition to doing choir at school. And I was still dancing a little bit. So I think the arts helped me feel confident, putting myself out there, doing presentations in school. Never really stressed me out that much as long as I prepared, because it was just another performance. I've been a performer. But I think that because of that, that confidence kind of poured into other areas of my life. Anytime I had to present, and then also just being able to talk to people and feel relatively comfortable around people. But in addition to that, just the way that I was raised, my parents were always putting us out there in church, encouraging us to lead things and participate in different things in church from a young age. All of that really just, again, you're really impressionable from that young of an age when you're young, right? So those early years are really fundamental, and to me that kind of brought out this personality trait that I have of just ease around people, being in front of people. But I think part of it is personality, but of course your environment as well, nature and nurture, right? So I think that kind of taught me that confidence can grow in general. We're just speaking general terms of what is confidence, right? And I should actually look that up and read a definition for you. But before I do, I just want to say from my experience that in general, confidence has grown, but also different personalities experience confidence in different things, in different ways, and it can show up in different ways. But from what I've seen, it grows, it develops over time, right? And when I'm thinking about specifics, when it comes to presenting, performing, being in front of people, right? As an artist, for instance, in dancing, singing, acting, for me, it was over time. Like I grew more confident, right? Remember that story that I think is true about the dance recital, right? I don't really have any other memories of being that scared to do any sort of performance or recital from then on because I did so many. Like growing up, I was doing so many things, even piano recitals. And I don't know if I've mentioned it on this podcast before, but I absolutely never liked doing piano when I was younger. Now I appreciate it because it's helped me as a singer, and it's helped me as, of course, a beginner voice coach to, but I'm plunking out chords, okay? I can do some warm-ups, okay, but I'm no maestro, not even in the least, okay? So I can accompany myself on a very, very, very basic level and with chords, of course. And yeah, that's about it. And I know how to read music, so that's good. But yes, but I never really liked piano. It just never clicked for me. But even piano recitals, when I did not know what I was doing, I still would go out there. And so, yeah, like when you build that confidence in one thing, it can bleed over into other things. That's one reason why, like, doing sports, being involved in the arts and stuff, like, those are good things for kids. Because, of course, like, when you build that confidence in yourself that, oh, you can do this, it builds your self-esteem, and it helps you in other areas of life, etc., etc. Even if you don't end up being an athlete or an artist or doing whatever, debate team, whatever, forever, but you're learning skills and building confidence in yourself that bleeds into other things. So that's all to say. It's a little introduction to say that confidence, in my experience, really grows. It is about building over time and consistency over time. The more you do something over time, of course, you're gonna feel more confident in it. Okay. So the definition of confidence, according to Merriam-Webster, is a feeling or consciousness of one's powers or of reliance on one's circumstances, right? That's the idea of like you feel like what's happening, like you're relying on your circumstances to be able to uphold you, right? Another definition is faith or belief that one will act in a right, proper, or effective way. Another definition is the quality or state of being certain. I like that. We are talking about like certitude, right? That's a synonym for confidence. You are certain. You have the quality or state of being certain. You believe that one will act in a right, proper, or effective way. You believe that when you get on the stage, you are going to sing and it's going to be amazing and you're going to have a grand time and everyone's going to love it. That is like confidence, right? And that is not, I don't think that's like something that everyone is born with necessarily, because we have fear, because we're human beings and we are not perfect. So you may believe that you can get on stage and kill the song, but what if your voice is just not feeling it that day, right? And you know it, and you're like having this sense of faith, like, I think I'm going to do the best that I can. But really what you're in that moment, like what you have to lean on is the fact that you've done this before, you've practiced, you've done this in the past, you've performed, and you're not exactly certain that it's going to work out, but you have the courage to take that step and go for it. And so that's where courage comes in, I think. That's one example of how courage can come in, is when you don't really feel certain and you are afraid, but you still do it anyway. You don't have any reason to be certain, but you choose to go for it anyway. And a lot of times we're looking everywhere, left and right. Where's the confidence? I can't do this. I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence in myself. I can't take this dance class. Like, why would I ever audition for this show? Like, I'm not going to get the part. Like, I'm not confident enough in my acting skills. So, okay, yes. Completely understand. You don't need to be confident in your acting skills, but you can have the courage to take a step and try, right? You can have the courage to believe in yourself and to hope that, you've put in effort. Maybe you've put in effort in like preparing for the audition, right? You're putting in the effort, and you can take that courageous step of saying, you know what? I'm going to do my best. And I trust that whatever happens is going to happen. It's for the best. And you might not have the confidence of being the best actor in that audition room, but you can take the step of courage to say, I'm still going to go for it, regardless of my doubts and my fears. And so that's the biggest difference between confidence and courage to me, is courage is acting in spite of your fear, even when you don't have evidence, very much evidence, or evidence at all. And then confidence is like you have evidence that you can do something and you are certain that you can do it. Um, yeah, it's like, again, with the definition, the level of certainty. So, what is the definition of courage? Courage, according to Merriam Webster, is mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. Oh, I like that. Let's read that again. Courage is the mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. And I love that it mentions fear in the definition, because that's really it. Is like, courage is you see the fear and you go for it anyway. You know that you are afraid, you recognize your fear, but you're going to withstand it. You're going, in spite of the fear, you are still going to venture out. You're still going to try. You're going to persevere. You're going to follow through with what you want to do, what you set out to do. And again, a lot of the times we're saying, I don't feel confident in myself yet. I don't feel confident enough in myself to do this thing. Meanwhile, what you really need is, you need to have courage. And courage, I think maybe you can develop courage over time too. Like anything that you practice enough, you can build more of, right? But I think with courage, it is something, again, like the definition is mental or moral strength. So it's something that comes like from inside. It's not something that you've practiced. And so like, it's not something that you've necessarily practiced over and over again. It's not necessarily something that you have to practice again and again in order to utilize. Like, it's courage is something that you decide within yourself that you are going to move forward in spite of the fear. I had Charlene Quigley on the show. She's amazing. This dancer and choreographer, currently on tour with Lizzo. She choreographed Beyonce's Crazy in Love. Or no, I'm sorry, she danced in Beyonce's Crazy in Love music video. And she's choreographed for like so many incredible artists and danced with so many incredible artists. And she talked about, when she was on the show, she talked about how she started dancing. And when she first started taking dance classes, she wasn't even like trying to be a dancer for real. Like, she just wanted to try it, and she was terrible. Like, this is her words. Like, on the episode, you can go back and listen to it. She said she was not very good at all, right? But she eventually made the decision that she was going to be a dancer. She decided. And it took courage for her to go to that dance class. And then it took more courage for her to decide, like, I'm going to be a dancer. Even when she knew she wasn't necessarily the best of the best at that time. And now Lizzo sings her praises and is like, she's an icon in the dance industry. So like, that's huge props to her, right? That she took that step of courage, and then over time you can see that she's built confidence in herself as a dancer, as an artist, as a performer. But it took courage to get started, is what I'm trying to say. And I love that story. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't listened to that interview. The conversation with her was just so great. And she goes more in depth into the story, and I hope I told it properly. But go and listen to it if you want more like of the story. But I love that because you can see now, like, she is such a good dancer. She has exemplified courage and confidence. Courage to take those first steps, and confidence that she has built in herself as a dancer. It's so evident because she has had consistency in dancing over time, right? She has gotten better and better, and I mean, she's so talented, right? But she wouldn't have really seen or been able to express those talents or grow in those talents if she hadn't had the courage to start in the first place. And so it really, 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 really like hurts and breaks my heart and saddens me when I hear people are like, oh, like I'd love to sing, but I'm just not confident in my voice yet. And I'm like, girl, guy, friend, like, you don't need to be confident in your voice yet, okay? Like, you really don't. But have the courage to just start. Just try to start singing some of your favorite songs, you know? Like, have the courage, just like join a choir, take a voice lesson, just try it out for fun. You never know what could come out of it. Maybe you don't end up being a singer for real, but you explored your voice more and you enjoyed it. You got to enjoy your voice a little more. Maybe you build confidence in yourself and say, oh my gosh, I can do this. I hit that note today, and that's on period. But you won't know if you don't take the if you don't have the courage to at least start and get yourself going. I want to also share another. I want to mention another person who was on the show, Sherry Rayford. She is the artistic director of a company I worked with before, and I'm currently working with this company that she owns. And we have a play coming up. Actually, opening night is literally this Thursday. So if you're in North Carolina, come out and see A Comedy of Errors at Shared Radiance Performing Arts Company. Link. You can go to my Instagram or whatever, or DM me if you have any questions about tickets, because I'd love for you to come. But yeah, so I'm in the play Comedy of Errors, and the artistic director of the Performing Arts Company, Sherry Rayford, she's also an actor in the show, and she's a woman of many talents. And she was on this podcast last year, and she had this amazing quote that I want to read to you. She says, run to the fire instead of away from it. She talks about running to the fire instead of away from it. And I love that she said that, because that is courage. That's courage, right? You know that the fire is there. Okay, we're not talking about, okay, PSA, like, please don't quote me on this. I'm not telling you to run into fires, okay? If you are not a firefighter, please do not be running into fires. I'm just saying, metaphorically, right? The metaphorical fire, right? Obviously. Just making sure I clarify that, because, you know, gotta be on the safe side, but let me stop being dramatic. But yeah, so metaphorically speaking, right? Run towards the fire. Obviously, if it's like real danger, like, don't run towards it. Be careful, be safe out there. But you know what I mean? The thing that we think feels like fire, like, oh my gosh, if I do this, it's going to be so embarrassing if I fail. Oh, I don't want to fail. I don't want to be rejected if I audition for this thing that I really want to audition for, but I'm going to be rejected. Oh my gosh. Or I'm not good enough, or I don't even think I have time to do this. Like, and sometimes it's not even like a big thing, like, oh, rejection or fear of the unknown, or fear of what people will say, even though ultimately that's probably what it is. But like deep down, it's probably like fear of what people will say if you fail, or being rejected, because we're all human and we all have those fears. But on the surface, it might be like an excuse of like, oh, I don't have the time. I don't have time to take a dance class. Girl, right now I do not have time to take dance classes. Because I've been in this show and we've had a lot of rehearsals. But after that, I'm getting back into dance class again. You guys know I'm always trying to get into dance class whenever I can. But that's off topic. The point is that when it comes to like, oh, I know that I want to grow as a singer, I know that I want to invest this time, but I don't have the time. So sorry, I can't. Sometimes even that can be a hindrance to us running to the fire, running like that not having enough time, or that, you know, not having the energy, you know, unless it's like actually genuinely, you know, there's of course certain circumstances, but generally speaking, sometimes it's just fear. Like sometimes it really is fear underlying it all. And you just have to have the courage to take small steps toward it. Like if you really want to do this thing, do it. Like take small steps of courage. You don't have to like give up a whole, you know, entire hours of your day towards this desire to start singing or performing or dancing or acting or doing something creative in any way, writing poetry, writing songs, playing an instrument. You know, it doesn't have to be hours out of your day, but it can be a little bit here and there. And you've taken that step of courage to say, you know what? I don't even know that I have the time to do this, but I'm believing in myself that this is worth it. And it's going to be good, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I have this gift, and I have this desire to be creative in this way, and it's gonna be worth it. Like that takes courage to say that, even when you feel like you don't have time, you don't have energy, you don't have money even, right? But it takes courage to say, you know what? I don't even have money to like take voice lessons, but maybe I can find a free video on YouTube and I'm going to use that to help me grow as a singer right now. Like that, because it would be so easy to be like, nope, don't have money. Sorry, can't, you know? But it takes courage to see the fire, see the challenge, see the thing that really scares you, right? Like potentially, not being the singer that you want to be, not being the artist that you want to be, and running towards it, like Sherry said, right? That takes courage. That takes courage, and sometimes, again, those things that seem like very logical excuses, sometimes those things can hinder us from running towards the fire. But when we can be resourceful, we can be inventive, we can think of ways to run towards the fire in a way that will actually, you know, that will actually help us to achieve that thing that we want to do so badly, in spite of the challenges, in spite of the fear that we might have. And so I just hope that I don't know, I wanted this to be a discussion, kind of like what my thoughts are of confidence versus courage. And so we started to recap a little bit. We started with confidence, right? And talking about how it builds over time, and versus courage, which is something that you kind of have to decide from the inside out. You have to decide in your heart that this thing that you are taking a step towards, is worth it. It's worth facing the fear that you may have, right? And from there, deciding that you're going to take a step. You're going to take one step of courage and move forward towards that thing. And that could be anything. It doesn't have to be related to the arts. It could be in a relationship. It can be in friendships. It could be in your career. It can be in your family. It could be in your own personal growth, mentally, emotionally. Like, it can be in so many different areas. It can be applied to so many different areas. But I just want all of us to really think about, how can I have courage today to do something that scares me? Is it Eleanor Roosevelt who said, do something that scares you every single day? I had that quote a long time ago. I wonder who it's attributed to. Do something that scares you, quote. According to Google, yes, it is Eleanor Roosevelt. Do something that scares you every day. And so I love that quote. Actually, I used to have that on my Apple Watch a long time ago, before my Apple Watch stopped working. Anywho, again, off topic. But the point is that do something that scares you today, this week, right? Take a step of courage, and over time, the more you do that, you will build confidence in that thing. You will build confidence in yourself over time, because you've taken those first steps of courage. And I'm so excited to hear from you. If you let me know how that goes, I would love to hear what happened. Like, how did you feel? What are the steps of courage that you're going to take today, this week, this month, right? The month is almost over. What are some steps of courage you can take? And then build a consistent routine of doing that, whether maybe it's working out, taking care of your body in a different way than you have done before, eating healthy, trying something new, and then doing it over time, seeing how that builds confidence in yourself, seeing how that builds confidence in your ability to do that thing, right? And it comes from first being courageous enough to go for it. And I just want us all to do that. Let's do it together, right? Let's do it together. So let me know how that goes. I'd love to hear about it. I hope this encouraged you in some way to take steps of courage and build confidence over time. You will do it. You will. I can just end with a short little reflection of my own about how I've built some level of confidence as an artist, deciding to do this professionally. Because when I first decided to do this, it took me taking a step of courage. I've shared my story on here before, but like deciding to leave the medical path and pursue the arts, and to start auditioning regularly, and to decide to do an online voice certificate at Berkeley, to decide to start giving voice lessons, because I knew that I wanted to help other artists. And of course, I had the podcast too, but I knew I wanted to help other artists, people who didn't even know that they were artists, to discover their own creativity and their own creative expression through the voice, through performance. And that's what I'm doing now. I have this the Confident Performer membership. It's a monthly membership where you get one-on-one voice lessons, and you also get a group lesson at the end of the month where you get to maybe perform your song in front of other people. I also have like plans to bring in like guest artists to do workshops and stuff. And like I've taught in-person voice lessons, or like group singing lessons in collaboration with another organization here in North Carolina. And I'm doing that same thing with another organization. Actually, two other organizations, technically. One of them, I'm doing it with Shared Radiance, that I work with currently as an actor. And then another one I'm doing with another arts center here in North Carolina this summer. And like, if you told me I'd be able to like do that a year and a half ago, when I like was like going all in this, and like I'm gonna be a performer and I'm gonna help other people love the performing arts too, I would have been like, okay, I don't know how this is gonna look, right? But over time, like I still don't feel entirely confident in myself all the time, right? Because I'm still human. But those first steps of courage and like starting to like take voice lessons again with my own voice teacher, starting to take dance classes again, starting to act again, starting to audition again, teaching voice lessons for free and paid, and like charging for voice lessons, like, which feels so scary to do. Like all these things have built my confidence over time that like I can do this as an artist. I can do this. And I just know that it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't had the courage to do that at the beginning. Even sharing my story, right? That's something that I could never have done. Like I could never have said all of that like a year and a half ago on the podcast. I don't think I really talked very openly about what was happening at that time, because I was not confident in my story and the mistakes that I felt that I'd made and the decisions that I've made. So, but now, because over time I have told a little bit of it, to different people, and now I feel more confident in myself in that. So I just hope that just encourages you, that as you go throughout this week, this month, today, that you can take steps of courage. You can, and you will build confidence over time. They're not the same thing. They're not. We read the definitions and they are different, but we have access to both of them. But it starts with courage, I believe. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you disagree, if you agree, DM me on Instagram, Estelle of Berry. I would love to hear. Everything's in the show notes for how you can contact me, reach me, follow me on Instagram, DM me. I'd love to chat with you and hear your thoughts on this episode. And I can't wait to keep talking to you. I'm so excited for just what we have going on in this podcast and all the great things that are still to come. Great conversations, great questions and interviews, and so much. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I really appreciate it. And I hope you're having an amazing day. I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook to find support and inspiration. If this episode helped you or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It means so much, and share it with someone who needs it, or on your Instagram stories and tag at Creatively Performing Arts. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen. We have amazing interviews and episodes coming up. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.